Their hands were very, tissue box fingers, and it just looked very mechanical because it was cheap, quick, produce it, put it out, consumable.
Right.
All right, boys, we are live and hot.
What's that?
We are live and hot.
Okay.
Maul Shadow Lord looks beautiful. The story is pretty cool. I'm liking it so far.
Okay.
But it reminds me of the Turtles TMNT Mutant Mayhem movie, where it kind of has that Spider-Verse feel with 3D animation. It's just like shit looks drawn, like hand drawn.
Okay.
Right angles and everything being like perfectly computer generated is kind of out the window. When they go into a room in Maul Shadow Lord, and there's like debris on the ground, it's like seriously scattered. It looks like a greasy, grimy, sewer that they're running through, because I don't know, it doesn't look mechanical. It looks like everything was painted out. And then like the skin tones are amazing, especially on Maul, because he has those red and black, and then he's got the lights of the environment he's in and the light of his saber, and he really pops. So
cool.
But yeah, it's a good time.
I need to watch that. Start the second season of Daredevil.
I haven't. I watched the first couple episodes, and I haven't gone back yet. I was like, I'll just watch this in one setting.
Yeah.
Because the first couple episodes were tense.
Okay.
Or first episode was I don't know, it made me anxious watching it. How's that?
I mean, I think that's a hallmark of the Daredevil franchise. I mean, they did a great job of that on the Netflix show. I feel like they did a pretty good job of that last season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I want to start it, I want to watch it, I want to get through it, but man, I know that the New York mini MCU has really some emotional investment ends up there, and there's an emotional battery aspect to that show. So
that's all I got for pop culture.
Okay. With the way my work life is going, I don't have much of a surplus battery right now.
That's fair. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Wow. Let me try again. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Fools Rushing In. I am Jeff. Let me try it without the last name.
I am an AI babysitter.
I definitely am not that.
I'm spitting hot fire.
Indeed you are. As far as pop culture goes, D, you got anything?
No. I really have not watched anything that wasn't, sitcoms to go to bed to, that were all reruns.
So yeah, okay. So most of my last week was like, this was like the Super Bowl weekend for wrestling.
Oh yeah,
it was. Yes.
So it was SmackDown on Friday, and then because we had to go up to Findlay, we were invited to attend an event that honored Kaya up at University of Findlay. They're the only school in the nation that gives their forensic, the people in the forensic program, lab coats when they hit their junior year. And they do it because you got to put in a lot of effort to make it to your junior year.
So is it like the end of a sophomore, or is she a junior going to be a senior?
It's end of sophomore. She's technically got way more hours than a junior level.
Right.
That's how she's been able to scam the housing system every year, because she's essentially been a year ahead of her peers.
Nice. Yeah, I know, like, sometimes there's usually basically like these two classes. If you can pass these two classes, you move on. And like
Right.
pharmacy had that at my school, where it was like you passed your OChem and your whatevers. And
so that was Saturday, which then, because that was in the evening, meant that I watched 8 hours of wrestling on Sunday.
Nice.
seems like a healthy amount.
By choice, because I wanted to, and because I enjoy it. So
Good for you.
Just to be clear, because I know that probably sounds like either a chore or just punishment to the rest of you.
No, I mean, my kid watched a lot of YouTube, or sometimes full wrestling matches at times, and so I've sat through several hours at a time just because he wanted to rewatch things. But
And I was mostly watching because I was waiting for the guy I like.
Oh, you were waiting for the basis for Metallica to World Championship?
No, the guy I actually like. No, I was waiting for Danhausen to show up because I knew he was gonna. Because leading up to it, they were talking about granting some of his demands. One of them was to be on the Sphere, so they were pricing out putting him on the Sphere for the week.
Was this in Vegas?
This was in Vegas, and it turned out the Sphere was cost-prohibitive, so they didn't put him on the Sphere. They did, however, rent him the Goodyear blimp.
So the blimp is cheaper than the Sphere?
Yes. And so they rented him the Goodyear blimp, and they let him fly around in the blimp, which was one of like his first primary demand. And it's been this way with like every wrestling promotion he's gone to. He's like, I want a blimp. And so they got him the Goodyear blimp to fly around in, and he cut some material while he was up there as well. So that was cool.
Jesus Christ.
And then they had these little RC inflatable blimps in the arena. They were calling them Blimphausens, because that's what they do with that guy. Everything is just whatever it is housing. And
it's quality marketing no matter what.
It really is. And then I'm like, okay, well, they got to do something with him, because John Cena's the host, and they were like, they really wanted, like, everybody was really excited about those two having some kind of an interaction, because they knew it could be fun. And like, they didn't bring him out at all Saturday night, which was fine. They showed him in the blimp before they started things on Saturday, so that was fine. And then it got to be like the only match left on Sunday was the main event, and he still hadn't come out. It's like, what the fuck? And then he finally ends up coming out, interrupting the guy he's been fucking with for the past 6 weeks. And oh, you've heard of him.
I thought he was married.
The Miz. Mike Mizanin.
Oh, the wannabe troll from Road Rules.
Yes.
Got it.
But he's been screwing around with him, cursing him for weeks now, and then because he got cut off the day before, he came out demanding a WrestleMania moment. And Cena's like, okay, sure. The floor is yours. And he just moves off and stands in the corner of the ring to let the Miz do whatever the fuck he wanted. And he's out there with the guy that is his current protege. And then he just starts he just begins speaking. He gets like 2 words out. And then Danhausen's music hits. and the platform that they use to raise people up sometimes. It's like an elevator that lifts them up so that they can make their entrance. Comes up, and it's got 8 midgets on it. Now,
I don't think that's proper.
Now, hold on, because it's even in the broadcast. They specifically asked to be referred to as midgets.
Okay.
So it was at their request that they were referred to as midgets.
Because everything's real.
But they're all done up in the get up like him, capes, the same outfit, the same looking outfit, the same face paint. And then he pulls up in. They've given him his own vehicle. It looks like a souped up golf cart that somehow belches smoke, and it's sort of coffin shaped. So he comes rolling out in that, and then they eventually all march down to the ring.
How could anyone think this is fake?
I don't care, man. It's entertainment. It's my fucking stories.
It's my fucking stories.
It's my fucking stories. And so they all make their way down to the ring, and then the guy that is with the Miz gets like right up in front of one of the midgets and pushes him down. So Danhausen then instructs one of the other midgets to attack.
To curse. Sick him.
Essentially. And so another one, but he addresses him by name, and the one takes 2 steps forward and just straight arms this guy in the nuts.
Did he name him after the reindeer?
No. Down. So guy goes down, and then Danhausen just points at him. He's like, dog pile. And so all the midgets jump on top of the guy that just went down. The Miz is still bitching because his moment got interrupted, and so Danhausen just takes a couple steps forward, drops down to one knee, and straight arms him in the junk.
Okay.
He goes down.
Whatever sells tickets, right?
The Miz goes down, ends up rolling out of the ring. Danhausen drops a shitty smoke pellet. Shitty in that there's no wind, it's still light out, and when he tells John Cena, "You can't see me," we still clearly see him. He then slides under the ropes, runs around the ring, and slides himself underneath it to hide.
Okay.
It's ridiculous and absolutely perfect. And while all this is going on, the midgets have now picked up the Miz and are carrying him up the ramp, like Neo at the end of the Matrix.
Well, that's not a comparison that I was expecting here tonight.
You had the same thing happen at work?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Oh, okay. You said comparison, so I was like, oh, well, that's a coincidence. Same thing happened to me.
But
the comparison of carrying him like the Neo at the end of the Matrix.
Well, I only use that as the comparison because of the visual. Because, I mean, there's the visual that goes with that, and that's an easy visual, I think, for people to go to.
It is.
At least people our age.
Saying we're old?
People that watched movies in 1999.
I am.
Okay.
I am saying we're
like a couple years after that still, but yeah.
Yeah. So that was my pop culture weekend.
Okay.
I only, because I didn't mention it last week because we were actually talking about other stuff. I went to the high school's performance of Chicago like 10 days ago now. And I don't know, they did a really good job. They had like a 30-piece orchestra on the stage playing the music the whole time.
Wow.
And like, it sounded like if I had gone and seen it like the Ohio Theater, I would have been like, yeah, it was a good show.
Nice.
Like, it did not seem like a high school show. So that's cool.
Good for them.
This is the thing that Hux was in.
He was in the costume closet organizing and doing things while they were acting. But yes.
Yeah, Elizabeth was big into the drama, those plays and stuff, but her senior year, she was stage manager. So
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be manager, but like, yeah, basically nobody's there to inventory the stuff and make sure we've got what we got and make sure everybody has all their stuff checked out, and he enjoys doing that. So
yeah, she was more into the crew rather than being in front of everybody.
Yeah, but he likes hanging out with people, so gets him out of the house. He's already gone to like several different things.
Nice.
Outside of that, so I'll take it.
Well, cool.
So, I'll brag on my kid in college real quick, since Jeff did.
What we're doing.
And you bragged on your kid and whatnot. So my daughter was elected president of it's called Album Club. It's a campus group that they have inside of the conservatory. So that was kind of exciting. It's a new group. She helped kind of get it moving and whatnot. And for her senior year, she'll be the president. And then she's technically not coming home. Well, because home is not here anymore. She's in the apartment hunting phase right now, so that she can do her internship and work in Cleveland this summer, and then go back to school in Berea come fall to finish it up.
I remember those days. The house
feels
gets
weird.
really quiet without him. I mean, she's already gone and she's at school,
right?
But there's always that,
right?
Come home.
Yeah.
And then
now
the first year was like, they came home the night before Christmas and spent the night here,
right.
kind of thing. But now they don't even do that. So
yeah, it's we've been quasi empty nester for a little bit, but this kind of is kind of the first real taste of that's going to be happening, since when she comes home now, it'll be to visit, not to come home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's things are looking up for her.
That's cool.
She's really excited about the prospect of being able to go work for one of the larger companies that she met with while she was in New York. So gotta wait and see how that plays out, I guess.
So what's like the end goal here?
Her end goal is she wants to at least start her career front of house audio for a music venue.
Okay.
And then she wants to eventually move into probably like an arts management, like hospitality type of role. So not necessarily like she doesn't want to be their manager, but work either for a venue or an arts management group in some sort of hospitality role with artists. So it's an odd niche to want to fill, but I mean, that's,
if you can make a living, may as well make one at something you find fun.
Yeah. She also there's another group on campus. I forget what it's called. Prism. They're like a
prison.
Prism.
Okay.
They are a musical performance group. campus group as well. She's going to be their front of house audio person for her senior year. So I was
Like
pretty
they have a
excited
venue,
about
or
that.
they just put on events, or
They put on events around campus.
oh, around campus. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 events a year. She'll be running the sound and front of house audio production for those.
So she won't just be hanging out in Cleveland. She'll be busy.
Yes. She went and looked at a 1-bedroom apartment. I want to see the details of the lease before she signs it. It is X amount of money a month plus electric, but not the electric baseboard heaters.
Those are controlled or wired into the main house or something.
That's what it sounds like, but I mean,
Yeah, it's probably not something malicious. It's probably just the way the house is set up.
Right. I just
they have the thermostat on the side of their side of the house wall.
No, this is an apartment building.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm
that's
just
wacky.
I just want to see it for myself before I say, yeah, kid, you should totally sign that lease. But it's a good price. It's in I think she said it's in Lakewood, which is not an awful part of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's where the girls live, where Darby and Abby live.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Got to see her final performance for her junior year this weekend. That was exciting. It was also the most songs that they have performed for a concert. They performed 6. There's a mix of like some Irish folksy stuff and some Shakespearean style opera. They were opera pieces based on Shakespeare works, if I understood the program right. That's really cool. I have to start the planning for the boys' wedding. That seems to be the next big life project right now.
When's that?
Last weekend of August.
Oh, the perfect time to not be hot.
They're getting married inside. They did not decide to do what his idiot father did. So
Yeah, I just came to the air conditioned part of that, so it wasn't so bad for me.
yeah, right.
Yeah, it was at the reception.
I was at the outside part. It was fucking awful.
It was awful.
The hair
I
gel,
got married.
my hair gel was melting, and it just kept going down into my eyes.
Yeah.
I got married in a church, and it was July 23rd, so it was fucking hot too, because there was no air conditioning in that church. I don't know who didn't check this ahead of time, but yeah.
Oh, we chose earlier in July, also in a church that wasn't particularly air conditioned.
I'm over here in April because we are not a hot people.
Listen, I wanted 7-Eleven as our anniversary. I would never, no one would ever forget 7-Eleven.
I mean, mine repeats, so it's not so bad.
Yeah. But then
our wedding date was the anniversary of our first date, so it's kind of...
Yeah, she was very adamant that we were not going to do that because that would have put her birthday, our anniversary, and Mother's Day all within a 10-day period. So I am very thankful that we did not opt for that. But yeah, July 10th at high noon, I got married. What a fucking just blisteringly hot day was that.
So not 7-Eleven.
No, I wanted 7-Eleven, but that was a Sunday, and we could not find any to be our officiant on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Because this was, back in the day when finding someone ordained who wasn't a pastor, quite the easy task it is today.
Yeah, you can't just sign up online and be a minister in an hour.
Well, I'm sure you probably could have.
You probably could have. It just wasn't well known.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not required a religious person to be the officiant either. It's just
right.
You just got to register with the state, and that's it.
$25 every year.
Is it every year?
Every year.
Yeah.
Weren't you going to marry cousins or something?
Me?
Yeah.
There were cousins that had asked me to. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
It's not the first time it's been talked about on air.
Yeah, to each his own.
Yes.
But,
thank you for reminding me about that.
Because you were a Dudist priest, right?
I still am. Yes.
For those who are not familiar, that's the dude from The Big Lebowski. Dudist.
I am a Dudist priest. I'm also ordained Universal Life Church, and I also have credentials with the TST.
Hey, I got 2 of those.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got my membership card with the temple.
Yeah. It's handy.
Yeah, I figure if they start giving religious preferences, it's the one that's going to align with what I want.
Yep.
What religion is this?
Satanic Temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not the Church of Satan.
Right.
Whole different
Those
thing.
are whole different entities. But yeah, I've tried to have as many credentials as I can, so that if I needed to, I could tailor to what the request was.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Universal Life, and then I'm not officially anything other than a member of the other stuff, so it isn't like, I mean, there's processes with the other ones too. I didn't go through any of that stuff.
The TST was like super easy to get set up to be able to have an officiant with.
Well, I guess if you just wanted to officiate, yeah, like to get an actual title was a different set of requirements.
Yep. Yeah, I just figured I'd get any that I could, just so I could say whatever you would like.
I mean, it's very much a thing that I could worry about if I ever needed to use it.
All I could think of is that scene in The Mummy when the guy holds up the Jewish star, and then he holds up the all the symbols from until he hits one that wins.
Part of what inspired me to continue to get more credentials was Benny from The Mummy.
Still fucking awesome scene.
Dude, that movie is just objectively amazing.
It's way better than
They're
it
making
needs
another
to be.
one.
I
know they are, and they're bringing everybody back.
I know Rachel
that's
Weisz is going to be in it and everything.
Yeah,
she was so friggin' adorable in that movie. Oh my god,
she was.
I saw an interview. It was like inside the actor's studio or something, with Ian Malcolm. Is that right? The guy that played Gandalf.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was. It was from years ago, of course, because at the time the actor he talks about is 27, and he says, "You ever get frustrated?" He goes, "Oh yeah, when I see someone and I realize I'll never be as good an actor as Robert De Niro or Brendan Fraser." And he's like, "What?" And he goes, "He's 27," and he's like, "Yes." And have you seen him? And he goes through all these examples of his basically just his facial control, like just portraying emotion without a word.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this guy's a great actor. Just kind of got brushed to the side.
Yeah, I'm glad he's making a comeback.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like anybody who had a bad experience working with him.
Yeah. No, I can't think of anybody that, there was no Me Too for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he was on the other end of that.
And I don't know any.
Right.
Yeah, he was the recipient of that. I don't know of any movie that I've ever seen him in that I was, disappointed in that movie.
Right. So. Even the dumb ones in the 90s were exactly what he was asked to do.
Encino Man was classic. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a fucking amazing movie.
I need to go rewatch that. It's been a long
If for nothing
time.
else, George of the Jungle needs props because he was fucking ripped. Holy shit. Yeah. He was like, I don't know, Brad Pitt in Fight Club kind of ripped.
True story.
But,
yeah, we sometimes forget they're just incredibly talented humans at a very specific skill, just like lots of other people.
Mm-hmm. I have actual work news that I'd like to sort of share, but we'll do that off the air because.
Are you allowed to? Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's not like licensed stuff. It's just not public knowledge kind of thing.
That's fine. Take care of it after.
I have one last thing, since I know we were talking about doing some more game design tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And this is actually pop culture-y, but it's not a thing I've seen. It's a thing I want to see. It's a thing that's coming up this week. But I figure it doesn't hurt to give it a little press. Because it's apparently really fucking good. There is and it's getting like a weird release, but there is a Crow film that comes out Friday.
Okay.
Like The Crow?
Yes. It's a moderately sized budgeted independent film.
Huh.
It's
That's curious.
Yeah, it's a feature length. It's getting.
Is it showing anywhere around here?
They weren't able to get the distribution that they wanted, so it's actually going to be streaming for free on YouTube starting Friday.
Oh wow!
Wet Paint Films is the YouTube channel that's going to have it, and the name of the movie is Days of Sodom: a Crow fan film. Which, for licensing reasons, they obviously had to do that way. So it's in it. The biggest name actor in it is Vernon Wells.
Not
that
sure
does sound like a familiar name.
Yeah, he's like lots of horror stuff.
Sounds like a baseball player, but
does. Wait, is he in the new Candyman movie?
I'm not seeing that.
Or the newest, I guess?
Let me go back farther. Jesus Christ, when did that come out?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, because I found like 50 things that this guy's been involved in the last 3 years. Like,
oh, He's one of those kinds of actors.
Yes. But his thing is horror movies.
Okay. Hey, man.
He has
You're in enough of them.
Right. He just has a much bigger role in this one.
Cool.
I believe I believe he's the main bad guy.
Okay. I did see an article about just the way Hollywood is working now. They're kind of forcing out those character actors.
In some ways, yeah.
It's
I
just
saw
like
that
they're
article as well.
basically making it impossible for someone to make a living just being, guest star on this week's episode of, Special Victims Unit. Like, what are you going to have the same? It's going to be like England. You're going to see the same 5 actors on every comedy, every action show, every fucking drama. Because you refuse to support anyone else.
Yeah.
And the other kind of disturbing, but just kind of the way the world works right now, barbecue places in like Texas are becoming a thing of the past because the prices of brisket specifically, it's cost so much, it's actually prohibitive to bank any money off of it. It costs as much to make it as it does to sell it, and raising your prices is paramount to death. And customers come to these barbecue joints, and if the sign says out of brisket, they just turn around and leave.
Yep.
So these barbecue joints are basically going out of business or going to remove it from the menu altogether in lieu of becoming something that actually can turn a profit. He goes, we have chicken, we have beef, we have pork, all this other stuff, but no one wants that. They only want the brisket.
It's funny because before the barbecue kind of call it the barbecue revolution, brisket was a throwaway trash cut.
Yeah, it always was. Yeah. It still is. It's just it's all about the preparation that makes it special.
The prep and then the smoke on it. If you can properly smoke a brisket, I am terrified to try because of how expensive it is. Yeah. Then you're in there, but yeah, like I was looking at large cuts of meat this weekend. I settled for a boneless leg of lamb that I'm going to smoke. But that boneless leg of lamb, same weight as a brisket. Okay. My leg of lamb cost me $40. The brisket was almost $200.
Yeah. And that's consumer. So when you factor in like, somebody, buying it commercial, they're probably getting a little bit of break, but not much.
Not much.
Because
and
they can price gouge you on that item.
I mean, you figure that was a 6.5 pound brisket was almost $200.
Yeah. And that's not that big of brisket.
No.
Is there something going wrong with the beef industry right now, or?
No, it's just inflation and pricing and gout, what the market wants and what we can charge for it. It's just like the housing industry.
Okay. I mean, the regular ground beef is expensive. Like all beef got more expensive, and chicken didn't change that much. So I wasn't sure if there was like some kind of hoof and mouth thing or something hit.
No. One of Karen's friends raises a cow every year and slaughters it. And he sold us I think we got 50 pounds of ground beef and a dozen or so roasts, and he charged us $4 a pound. I'm like, that can't even cover his processing fees, but that's what he charged us.
I mean, it depends if he's a farmer who can do some of the processing on land, he probably he did not make a big profit. Oh, well.
Yeah, he took it to a butcher. So
I don't know.
They vacuumed everything and froze it.
But I don't know what those
kind of deals they work,
would
but
be.
you might be able to pay for part of it with part of it.
Well, I think if he takes like 2 and he can get the cost of those out of one of them, selling to other people, he's good. He's ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, you can sell the more expensive cuts.
It's just like somewhere. I keep seeing these like the actors and then the barbecuers, and like these are I don't know, niche markets that are just being forced out by someone else's greed.
Mm-hmm.
Much like the gaming industry.
Yeah.
That's how I turn it back around, y'all.
There you
go. There you go.
Sorry, I was taking it to depressed land. Good job.
Because that was very much a topic that we discussed last week. Was the well, I discussed last week because it was my logic through line for why I think that game design is good for us. Additionally, I just think game design is good for us.
It's good mental exercise for old guys.
Another reason that I like it, and this may seem stupid, it gets us talking more.
It does. It does indeed. So let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah. All right. So, Jesus, I got half of the notes down because she had so much that we were throwing around.
We jumped around a bit.
Yes. So we had talked about cards of a couple different sizes, but we want them to be sturdy, obviously, because they need to have some kind of last, some ability to stick around. But
they don't have to be cardboard, but they need to be kind of a thick.
Well, I mean, the other side of that is that a lot. I mean, there's more than a handful of games where, you might end up with a handful of cards, but you're not constantly shuffling a deck.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you've got like in In Too Deep, again, the example that we have gone to heavily, but it's recent.
We're really deep cut kind of.
Well, it's a recent game, but it's like one of the the stack of small cards in that one is like 90 or 100 cards. So it's like, hey, if the stack is big enough and you're not shuffling it a lot, that's going to help. That's going to help with giving it that long life as well.
Sure.
And part of the necessity of that being 90 cards was there was great variety in what was printed on those cards, what they represented.
Yes.
There was a vast I'd say there'd be no more than 2 repeats of any card.
Well, and honestly, I think that another reason there might have been that many cards is because it would have to do with sheet costs. How many cards are coming on a sheet? Because having made games,
and if you're intending a game for 6 players, you have to have enough.
Right, but having made a couple of games before, that was a thing that we had to look at. We had how many cards come on a sheet.
Mm-hmm.
If we do it in this size,
how many stuff out of it?
How many come on a sheet if they're this size? How many come on a sheet if they're this size? And there are conversations, have been conversations about what size card we're going with, and how that plays into the overall production cost.
Yeah. So I just want to say something, and you can shush me if you need to. I'm still incredibly proud of the card /game mechanic that we came up on a game that we helped design and bring to market. Those stunt cards, this is a fucking genius idea. I stand by that.
That was a very good game that I just didn't enjoy because that's not my style of game. But the design was very good.
Yeah,
for the right group of people, that is,
I think that's
really good.
true for all of us. It was. I think we're all proud of it. I know I am. Speak for myself.
Some fucking brilliant. It was absolutely,
and it's absolutely playable. Absolutely a good time. It's just not something I want to come back to every weekend.
I get that.
It's not. That is definitely something like outdoor, under pavilion, family reunion kind of sitting. Get the cousins together and let's just get silly and loud and oh my god, this will be epic. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of situation I want.
I to this day, despite anything else, I am incredibly proud of how we made that game and the work that we put into it, because it's good.
From taking it where it was in an overcomplicated state and making it, taking the difficulty from like a 9 down to a 3.
Yeah.
Do we? I mean, I have nothing against saying the name of the game. Anybody else?
Per our contractual situation, we can refer to our involvement in that game in advertising and promotional materials for the rest of time, because I made sure that was in the contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did design that and produce that, and nothing will ever change that.
I mean, that's why I think that working on the new game, I think it's going to go well, because it's kind of outside our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like it's something we're a little familiar with, but I mean, we're familiar with party games, so it's like, but it's not the thing we talk about. Like it's not our go-to when we're talking about making something. And I think that having that outsider perspective has us approaching it differently.
Yeah. So I think as we start to think about this new game, one of the things that I want to, and I brought up the previous game with purpose, because we did something with the design of that, and it was a very purposeful change that we made that I want to make sure that we carry forward with worker placement. Even once we got past some of the heavy elements of that game, and we started looking at, okay, well, how do we change a party game to, kind of turn some things on its head? We came up with the stunt cards as a way to do things. That, to me, hallmark of that game is the stunt cards. So with worker placement, one of the things that I personally hate about worker placement games is the amount of time it takes to place the workers in a worker placement phase. Like, it always feels like it's this thing that you have to do. It's this task that is just part of the game. I just don't find many redeeming qualities personally.
So
I feel like there's better ways to spend your time.
Right. So I kind of here is where my head is, and it would be the experience that Ray would have had. So he can maybe see what I'm talking about as well. I don't think we have any kind of a placement phase for the workers. It's everybody gets a set number of actions per turn. You do,
and the workers are where they're at.
And the workers are where they're at. or what you do with them is a part of those set actions that you get in a turn. So
okay, so you're saying
more of here's the factory floor. I need this guy over here with this next to this. How do I do that in 2 moves?
I mean, that's sort of an idea.
Okay, so I'm going to reference another game. Not that we're stealing an idea from them, but this says. So you're saying worker placement would be a part of the game turn in the way that generating energy, Epic Spell Wars is a part of an attack.
Yeah, I can see
that. Or maybe this might be a better example. Think of it more like Deadlands, Doomtown specifically, not Deadlands. But think about Doomtown. You've already got your guys in town.
Okay.
Like they exist. Like you've got a guy at the bar that's right next to your home, or you've got the guy at home and you need to get him to the bar.
Okay.
Like those are already your workers. They're already in play. Getting them shifted from where they are to where you need them is kind of, that's the placement. But again, I am using like people who are probably hardcore worker placement makers are probably, if they hear this, might rip their hair out because I think I'm bastardizing the term.
Okay.
Because I don't know that it's necessarily like true to what a typical worker placement game would be.
Okay.
Because we're already like the initial.
Once we come across the better term, we'll use that.
Right, but like the initial approach to this was always going to be to put our own spin on it, and like we had already having the little bit of exposure to like true worker like the true granular worker placement, like what Joe Slack makes.
Yeah,
because I know we play tested one of his.
We did.
And there was very little interaction among the players in that. And
boring.
Right. And that has always seemed to be the case with a lot of worker placement games and a lot of deck building games as well. And that's always been a thing that's kind of chapped our ass because that's not
mostly
us.
race.
Well, no, you're not alone in that. It's like, yeah, there should absolutely be some way to interact with your opponents because if I wanted to...
Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing.
If I wanted to just sit and play with myself, I wouldn't get together with you guys.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be competitive solitaire. Like, you're just racing to finish your thing before they finish their thing, but nothing overlaps.
Exactly. So,
okay, so we're on board with the worker placement style. Got it.
I think it's more it's less worker placement and more, I don't know, pawn manipulation. Like the pawns are lined up. Dylan takes his turn and moves these three here. My turn, I'm like, no, I need those three over here. And then you come up and you're like, well, fuck those three. I'm going to move two different ones. And then middle of the game, they're everywhere. And each turn is like, okay, how can I get them off of that onto this to meet my requirements? So it's less about placing a worker to generate stuff. It's more like placing a worker to complete something.
Okay.
So whereas worker placement, you're putting energy into something and it's kicking you something back that you're going to collect later to build somewhere else. This is just this turn. I got to get these sheep into this corral to earn this card's reward, which is basically the other part of the game.
Does that answer your question in a satisfactory way?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, I'm probably going to be pushing hard to make sure that our worker placement game doesn't devolve into 10 minutes of boring staring at meeples.
I think the 10 minutes of staring at meeples will probably only be during setup.
Okay.
Now, granted, it was just me and Jeff playing in too deep, but the fact that each of us only had 2 actions meant there wasn't my ADHD to the max. What were we doing when it comes my turn again? Him doing his thing was so short, and like, shit, he's moving that guy I need. It's easy to pay attention to. When it comes to my turn, I'm already halfway thought through my turn by the time he's done, which makes my turn go fast, and he goes right back to his. So it's just a easy transfer. Now with 6 players, it might be a little different, going around the table, but still only two actions or limited actions per turn is it kind of keeps the revolver going around quick enough that you don't get bored or lost in someone else's.
Yeah.
I would say on average our turns were probably about 2 minutes.
Yeah. And a lot of that was like thinking and figuring out who had who and where it was. And
I certainly had turns that were way faster than that. Like it would be my turn and I would do the 2 things I needed to do immediately and just be done. And he'd be like, oh, it's my turn again, because it took that little time. The flip side is that as it started to get near the end of the game, the turns did start to get a little more complex and they did start to take a little bit longer, but they were still not super long. I think the longest turn we had was probably 5 to 7 minutes. But that was like what needed to happen on that turn to accomplish the end goal was super complicated.
But the crescendo of the gameplay had also risen with that time investment.
Yes.
So, even though his turn is taking longer, I'm interested in what he's doing because I got to figure a way to stop that or at least do better than that.
Or
there was a Star Wars.
What he's doing isn't going to impact what I'm doing.
Yeah, I hope we don't move that guy. Because there was a Star Wars game that involved dice. Is anybody familiar with that? It had big chunky dice with reason I bring it up is there is a turn sequence in that game where you generate force, you generate all these things, and sometimes a card can be augmented by a specific dice that had pictures that correlated with it. You would roll the dice, and that's your turn. If it landed on the side you needed, cool. The other guy takes an action, and it's like magic where Jeff takes his turn and he does all this stuff and all these things happen, and I'm like, I'm not following along. That's not my commander deck. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Okay, it's my turn again, and I forget everything he was doing. Where in that game, each player just did one thing each turn, and it just kept going around, and you are building towards something, some attack or some set of cards on the table to bring about your victory. But there's ample opportunity to stop what I'm doing to try to kick you off the tracks. I know you don't want to get lost in 10 minutes of me putting little yellow beads on the factory. That might be a way to thwart it. Limiting or limiting actions to just a few, or literally just a single action.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure that it's fun, it's engaging, and it stays engaging.
I will say, after talking last week, I went and I found all that art I did for that Apocalypse game I made. With the zombies, insects, technology, and mutants. I found all the sketches I had done, and I actually put some in my iPad and was doodling on some of the zombies, and kind of got me a little excited. I really liked that art. It's different than my typical style, so it was surprising. Anyways, sorry.
So, what other questions or concerns did you have, Chad? I can't believe that's it.
For right now, that's the biggest. I just want to make sure that, if we're going to do worker placement, we're gonna try and do not just worker placement, try and do better worker placement.
Okay, we're doing it our way.
Yes.
And as far as fun, I think that we all know that our game development cycle always seems to follow the same pattern of we design a game that when we first start playing it is absolutely not fun.
Correct.
And then we make it fun. We
Yes.
figure out what in the not fun needs to go to make it fun. So
in that game that we talked about earlier that we helped design and redesign, that was evident in our first play test. What was not fun, me sitting there with a sour look on my face, like, what am I supposed to be fucking doing? And then it was easy to identify that. So, and then like, Cluck's case, it took my dumb brother to saying, "Now I get those eggs, right?" for us to realize, why, yes, you do, Brian.
Yes,
you too.
Thank you for confirming that.
Thank you for confirming that's the way it should be played.
Yeah.
That shortened games by half.
That
it did
made the game playable, honestly. It was fun and it was goofy because it was, it was new in hours and had possibilities and stuff, but that was we would never been able to demo that in that state.
Oh God, no.
No one would have had the patience to sit for that.
You take out a chicken and you collect those eggs. That's exactly how it should work.
Yeah.
But
Quickie's back. We have to remember that we're trying to ignore him.
Yep. That's about an hour and a half in every week. Kicks me out of Discord.
That's bizarre.
Are we already that deep? Shit.
Yeah, we're
9:15.
We're doing well.
Well, I mean,
wow.
We're only an hour into recording because I started us late.
Yeah, we had
for real reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I think part of this might be finding some of the games that are in this style, other than the one, the two that we've mentioned a lot, and playing those at some point. I don't know what you might already have on hand that we just haven't played, type of thing. But
I mean, as far as worker placement style, I've got a couple. Deep State was one.
Did we play that one?
No, that's the one he and I played.
Okay.
No. Into Deep is the one just you and I played. Deep State is the one that we have all played it. That's the crazy conspiracy theory laden game.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I remember parts of it, but I just wasn't sure, like, if we played it more than once or not.
That
I think we
one
played it like twice when we played it. But
yeah, we played that one a couple of times. I've got Terraforming Mars, which is also kind of a worker placement game.
Yeah, that one I think is the origin of Chad's I don't want it to become
And that is very
10
much
minutes of
but that's a very traditional kind of a worker placement game. And as much as we want to be different from those, I think we may need to play some so that we have reference points that we don't want in ours.
Yeah. I think
yeah, because like Terraforming Mars, I've got the like phone game, like the app on my phone for it. Because I played it that way, and that's one of those things where like I can stand it on my phone because I don't have to keep track of all the pieces and all the whatnot. But yeah, keeping it to not having a bunch more pieces than we need is one of the other things that like cards are great because you can do a bunch of stuff with cards. I don't want to be like, oh, the game's unplayable because I lost my third purple guy.
Right.
Like one piece missing shouldn't be the game's unplayable type of thing.
That's fair.
I'm all for using the worker placement as the jumping off point, and we find another way to do it, or another, I don't know, way to measure or score our game, our story, and then running with that. So.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of options, and we pick one, we start with it, we decide we don't like it, and then we keep going from there.
It's what we've done in the past.
Right. But just starting with something is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, we'll get it started.
And building off WD as a theme, or at least a setting to start with, gives us, all that kind of, I don't know. The story helps me visualize what do I want to do in a turn, what kind of actions need to be in this game, what kind of interactions between player A, B, C.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the faction ideas, and I feel like they could all have their own flavor, and that could be really cool. And then the biggest thing is just making sure that they don't all feel like the same faction with a different cover guy.
Right.
I think that's going to come
we've
down
already
to
mentioned
whatever.
a bunch of things.
I think that just comes down to in the Deadlands and L5R kind of idea, the faction home, like whatever the faction card is that gives you your faction ability, that's going to be what makes or breaks them.
Yeah, your faction ability, your faction alignments, like who do you by default get along with, or who do you have best favor with, who do you have the worst favor with, kind of thing. Because we were talking about the I think I remember like a pie graph, and having the different faction colors around that pie graph, and like this is
specifically it was the graphic design color wheel to be used for faction relations.
Yeah. So I'm playing the hippies who are green, and opposite the green is purple, and that's obviously the military. I don't get along with them so much, but the ones on either side of me, whoever they may be, I get along with a little better, or have better relations. And if I recruit somebody from that faction, they're worth a little bit more towards my goals. I don't have to recruit quite as many, if that was at all the part of the gameplay, because I was getting into the weeds when I was suggesting that kind of stuff, because I was already into the story and the what is my purpose here.
I like the idea of using the color wheel. I like the idea we had brought up about using specifically the colorblind color wheel to make sure that we were being as accessible as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's no reason not to start with it.
Well,
And there's also other ways to do that, Chad, where it's green, but it has like different shades of green triangles making a pattern, and then the one next to it has like cross hatching in it. The other one is dots or diamonds or whatever, and you can tell what faction it is just by the pattern in that color, aside from the color. And
that's a great idea.
That's completely a design choice. Is if we have 8 factions, and we need 8 unique colors for them. At some point, we're going to cross into reds and greens.
Sure.
Well, and at the same time, I mean, if we are using the color wheel, it costs it costs us nothing to use the colorblind color wheel, and it takes no extra effort because we're still just looking for 8 colors.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So I mean, as from a pure design standpoint, it changes nothing but the colors on the color wheel. That is the only impact that has on the design process.
I don't think any actual hippies will get in an uproar if they're yellow instead of green.
No, probably not.
So
I'd be surprised, but I've been surprised by these things before.
True.
Well, and it's also, if somebody complains,
play it over again.
Does it matter enough that I'm gonna do something about it, or am I good? Like, you're not gonna make everybody happy. And as long as it's not everybody or the majority of people complaining, then I'm good with it.
Wait.
There's plenty of games that we have that we look at that are like, yeah, this is probably a good game. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yes.
And honestly, to maintain my attention span, I'm gonna have to have marquee characters that will adorn said factions.
Well, good thing you're drawing for your attention span.
Yeah, well, that's when it starts to get technical and math starts getting rolled out to make sure that things are balanced or possible to win with every said faction. That's when my eyes are going to cross and roll into the back of my head. And so I better be drawing something.
Hey man, that's what I'm here for.
Yes. This is what we need the coder for. Because I didn't put a lot of points into that, if you know what I mean.
What?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Maths, as much as I love maths, it's my dump stat.
So we don't have a ton of time left, really.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about? Do we want to see if we can maybe try and work out some of the faction relations?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm looking at the Discord thread. You have them written up here: corporation, military, anarchists or / cannibals. Can go either way. Evil science. Now that the world is ending, they don't have to worry about government regulations. They can do whatever they want. Religious fanatics, because hell, we got those now. Road warriors, basically just living large in the wastelands. The environmentalists or hippies, and the preppers, which I think honestly probably default win the game.
Well, it depends on what their goal is.
True.
Because there's more than one goal. I mean,
yes,
not
true.
everybody's trying to do the same thing.
We talked about that. Some of them are trying to bring about the end of the world. The others are trying to,
prevent
make
the end
it
of the world.
make it livable again, or at least get through it.
Preppers' goals may focus more on just making it through.
Yeah, that could be the initial, like, right down the line, left side, right side. Who wants it to burn? Who wants it to survive? I think, despite their best efforts, I'm gonna put military in the burn, because once there's nothing left to fight, they're kind of done, right? So
kind of feels that way.
So, and then evil, religious fanatics and military, I think, definitely have to go to the burn, probably for different reasons. And evil scientists and anarchists, maybe all, yeah, right there. Those four could easily just be slid over to their preferred mode of winning is to bring it all down. And then the corporation, they want to bring about capitalism solution for the world. The road warriors, just want to make sure there's enough gas to keep road warring. Environmentals want to survive and basically heal the world, and preppers just want to make it through.
Preppers don't want to just make it through, though. The preppers are there to thrive.
Well, they're there to thrive and to watch everyone else squirm. That, they're the ants watching the grasshopper whine.
Yes, very much so.
So, if you have, can I edit this thread, Jeff?
I don't know if you can edit. I don't think you can edit my posts, but you can add. You can certainly contribute to the thread.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm making hand notes, or well, I'm taking notes by hand at this point because I'm trying to graphically represent some things, and I cannot easily do that in there.
I just oh shit! I hit enter. Damn it. Can I edit? Edit message. There we go. I took the corporation and put it down above road. Why does it keep doing this? I want to return. I don't like this.
Okay, if you're trying to just go down a line, shift enter.
Thank you. There we go. So military anarchists, evil science, and religious fanatics are the burn side. So if any in that group of four has a best bud, it would be one of the other three. Now, if they have a we definitely don't like them, it's on the opposite side. The corporation, the road warriors, the environmentalists, or the preppers. And I like the fact that a corporation is on the opposite side. Like, they might be the good guys, but they're not. They just don't want things to burn because it doesn't earn them money.
Yeah, there's no profit in that.
Yeah. So I don't think, like, military should be on the best of terms with all the other ones. Maybe the evil science. The
And see, I would
anarchists and the
say,
religious fanatics could easily, I don't know, sympathize with each other.
I would say that in thinking about this, the mad scientists and the preppers are both there to not just survive, but to actually thrive in this new world order.
I could see that.
So
because
they're opposite sides but the same goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I in no way want to say that if you're playing military, your only choice to win the game is burn it down. You can absolutely bring about military state and everyone lives, but they're under your thumb.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could line it up in a place where it's like the person directly across from you is the most polar opposite. Either side of them is also somewhat opposite
The
of you.
one to your right is your bestest bud. The one to your left you tolerate.
I mean, the tolerate would be like second from your left, second from your right.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd have to draw it out exactly to kind of get an idea. But like, you can tolerate people 2 spaces to either side of you, and then you absolutely hate the remaining 3. It wouldn't have to be.
Yeah, we definitely have to.
We don't have to flavor it as hard.
These factions may change to facilitate that narrative.
Sure.
Well, these were just
as much as I like these 8, off the cuff, they may not survive till the end.
Well,
Right.
and I mean, it was very clear that these were potentially just placeholder names as representative of a group, and they would most likely be different in the end.
And we could go about the Deadlands or Doomtown route, and the corporation could be Wilsktek. We don't necessarily call it corporation, or we could call the environmentalists some Greenpeace, or make up some name, that equivalent. Let people kind of fill in the blanks of what they think this group is all about.
So you're telling me that the corporation is the Weyland-Yutani Corporation?
Yeah, there you go.
More or less.
Yeah. Evil science.
Just with slightly less ethics.
I don't think the coalition was evil, were they? I mean, they had their bad seeds, but they weren't necessarily bad guys.
The coalition?
Oh, not sorry.
Collegium?
Collegium, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
The coalition.
Were they
the coalition was
coalition was
like law
Ghost of
enforcement.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, right.
Were the Collegium evil? Man, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I think they had. I think every faction had its bad seeds, but
they were not intrinsically evil.
They were not the Watleys trying to bring about the end, or the flock.
No, you are correct there.
Praying for the end.
Correct.
And
God, speaking of the flock, sorry,
we're having this seat very much in reality. We don't have like we have evil science, but they're not churning out super mutants or the anarchists aren't casting spells or anything. So
right,
we kind of have we're kind of limiting.
Well, now are we saying for the purpose of what we're doing that the preppers are would be across from the evil science?
No, I think that they would be. So if you think about it in like the pie chart kind of thing. The
I
evil
think they'd
science
be to the right of their bestie.
Yeah, they're going to be the first space of not allies from each other.
Okay. All right. So let's try and figure.
So they get along fine, but they don't get any bonuses to work with each other.
And that's great. I feel like we need to start with a pair that are
directly
across from each other so that we can start filling in from there.
Okay. Diametrically opposed.
Military and the environmentalists.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So we have hippies versus the law. I mean, military could be anything from state police to actual military.
Ray's wife.
All right.
Yeah. What?
What?
So then, okay, and then we were saying that. All right. So those two are across from each other. Who do we say is who is okay with the military? Like, are we saying like who would be the adjacencies on that?
I think evil science is on one side of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe a step.
No, don't go more than one step away, because I feel like this is going to take a lot of juggling anyways to get these things where we want them.
It also is like we go in left or right here. Because of military.
I'm picking a direction now that may end up having to change later to fit what we need.
Okay, so
like
I'm putting evil science on their right.
I'm okay. I'll put it on their right.
And I'm putting anarchists on their left.
I don't think the anarchists in the military would get along at all.
I would think best. I would think at best they're two away.
Well, here's okay. So we have somebody they hate right next to them.
I mean,
all right. So
I think we could put the religious fanatics next to the military. I think there's
absolutely
overlap there.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I've set a crude drawing of what I'm imagining here, just for my own reference later on.
Oh, I've got a crude drawing I'm going to be sending as well.
But yeah, like left and right should be like. I'm assuming there's going to be multiple like your stats in like D&D or something, like charisma, whatever, all that type of stuff that you have. Like the people on your left and right, one of them's going to have
yours is
a complete overlap of one part. One of them's going to have overlap for this set, and one of them's going to have overlap for that set as like shared goals. And then when you get to the other ones, it's like the secondary ones might overlap, but not, they're not your main. And then when you get to the next level, everything is opposite of you, or at least not strong in one way or the other, and then you get your most hated. And it doesn't always have to be just the stats. It could be, one major aspect that is just so opposed that you can't get on board with it, no matter what the rest of your stats say.
We could also not worry about right and left here, but we've already placed two on either side of the military. So who's directly across from evil science?
That would be good with the environmentalists.
The preppers, because they hate science and they like living off the land.
Both those arguments make good. Well, who's across from the religious fanatics? The road warriors, those who have no laws.
The road warriors, anarchists. Yeah,
I'd say the anarchists. Well,
but that puts them right next to the hippies.
yeah.
I think maybe
We could
thinking,
do road warriors because I feel like road warriors would be scavengers.
I could see the anarchist cannibals. So who are we having who are we having across
they're
from,
cannibals because they won't eat animals.
so we're having them across from the road warriors, correct?
Who?
Who?
The religious fanatics.
That's who I was leaning towards.
I would lean towards that. The anarchist would be my second choice if we had to.
Evil science was environmentalists?
No, military environmentalists, religion, road warriors, science, and preppers.
No, military is across from hippies. Oh, that is the same thing. That's the same people. Damn it. Evil science preppers were across from them.
Yeah, preppers were across from science.
Which
so we'd have
the
corporations and anarchists.
Yeah, actually that works really well.
But which side to go which way?
I would put the anarchist
corporation
cannibals
next to science.
And I would put the anarchist cannibals between the preppers and the religious.
Yeah, then that works.
Yeah.
Like we have to fine tune a few like properties of each, but like technically that just did what we wanted to do.
Yep.
We did it, guys.
All right.
We squared the circle.
Mission accomplished. Let's all go home.
Yeah, I just threw my wheel up there. As I'm doing it, I see you guys have all yours. So,
mine was just mentally so I could follow along. But like, yeah, we're all have the same.
Jeff, me and yours are exactly. Me and yours are pretty much the same. You just have.
I think it's just flipped.
Yeah, religious and science are flipped on what side they are on the military, which corresponds with road warriors and preppers.
Yeah.
Which I think mine, I think road warriors being next to the anarchists makes more sense, and the preppers being next to the corporation, not so much. Maybe, I don't know. Weird.
Let me see what you had here.
So I'm thinking when it comes, like everybody's going to get one of these wheels, right? And
there could be one for the whole.
Well,
we could put the wheel in the middle. I mean,
we could put the wheel is part of your home board, and those across from you have negatives to working with those people. Anybody you bring in to help you, or any workers you try to recruit with that, costs you more to get their help. Those on the right and left of you don't cost you anything extra.
Ooh, okay. I have a thought. Hear me out on this.
Absolutely.
So it's an 8-piece pie chart, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be. It could be more.
No,
shut up.
Your people, your workers that you're going to buy that are faction are X price. Okay? As you go around the pie chart away from you, the cost to buy that worker increases by a factor related to, are they next to you? Okay, +1. Are they 2 away from you? +2, and so on and so forth. And you now have a game rule explanation that we can
1, 2,
show
3
on
steps cost 3 more.
Yeah.
And directly across would cost 4 more, which
Correct.
Yes. So the one next to you costs 1 because that was 1 step.
Yeah.
So the hippies want to recruit some evil science that costs them 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Conversely, like this would work in
Cost them
tandem
what?
with that.
What is the?
Well,
I don't know. We're not there yet.
currency?
Yeah, once we get there.
we'll get there.
The other thing I was thinking was if you use their characters in lieu of other characters for, whatever the victory, not the victory, but like achieving the objective, like if you're, whatever your card says, objective, cool, whatever. If you use right and left to you, there's no penalty. And then going out from there, -1, -2, -3 to your victory points for that objective if you use people from the corresponding factions. So
Essentially,
we could use both. Like, it's not an either or. It's like you have penalties for recruiting and you have penalties for using them.
I think we'll have to be very careful in how we institute the penalties, because if someone invests 4 extra to get that worker that is fucking tits, but it's
I think the penalty has to be applied once. You can't recur penalties.
I don't want to kick someone in the dick twice. Mainly because if we do that, then God, we got to find a fucking way to balance even more shit.
Well, I mean, we could do +1, 0, -1, -2, like to not be so bad.
Let me pose this as a potential compromise. Let's keep both of these ideas, knowing that we are ultimately only going to use one.
I'm okay with that.
I was thinking when he was talking, like, you need to perform an action. The character you have available to move is military, and you're playing hippies. So it costs you 4 to move that guy.
I think ultimately we should try using
4 times as many to do that.
I think we should try using both of them, not together, obviously, because of the double penalty thing. But I think we should try using both of them and use the one that makes it, like, that feels like it makes the most sense through the game.
What I'm thinking right now, in place of the penalty thing that I just mentioned there, maybe the objectives have certain requirements where, like, you can't, for this particular one, you can't use anybody more than 2 away from you.
Ooh.
And do it that way.
Okay.
So individual cards limit who you can use. That way you're not getting hit with penalties and whatever. You physically can't take that penalty, that card, because it doesn't meet the requirements.
But once you have them recruited, they're yours, regardless of what color they are. Sometimes you might want to recruit that military guy just to keep it away from the other guy.
Right,
but you wouldn't be able to use it for that mission.
Right, like maybe the mission takes three workers, and 2 of them have to be similar alignment, call it. So they have to be either you or in a away from you. And then that third person that you're bringing along, that can be anybody. That way, like, you still have to have people that are either you, and you can only use that one person that you spent a shitload of whatever to get because they have that cool effect that you want.
Well, and I don't need that to be like a hard and fast rule. I mean, that can change card by card. There could be some cards where it's like free for all, and you could use anybody, and then the difficulties
could also be
achieved in other ways.
It could also be kind of a Magic the Gathering type mechanic where the one straight across from you is colorless. He doesn't count towards friend or foe, or the one adjacent to the guy directly across from you are colorless. You know, the further away they are, but not your total opposite, don't count as, you know, who they are or something.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in the same ballpark. It's just fine tuning it.
Yeah, now it's figuring out what we're doing with these people and why we hate.
But
there'd
be both, restrictions on what you can recruit, and then restrictions on what you can use in any given mission, with some missions being no restrictions, and it'll have a different difficulty or a lower reward.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So then,
because we're going to have to design a lot of these, so it's not like you don't want the same one where it's like only your 2 friends, only your 2 friends, only your 2 friends.
Well, right. now that we've got some idea of how the factions are going to relate to one another, I think we can build from here. Because
I think so. Yeah.
I think this is where we needed to start, and I think now that we have it, everything else should flow hopefully a little easier for us. I'm confident we're going to end up having to have like more roughly drawn graphical things because we're making so much.
Well, just by what we've shared now, it's evident that we're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just happy the wheel worked out because I wasn't expecting that when we started.
Yeah, I expected that was going to be something we were still talking about next week.
And yet here we are.
It took
us 10 minutes. I'm genuinely surprised.
The names we have that are labeling these factions and their social, economic, whatever views, they're completely arbitrary. It's just how they affect each other on the wheel.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, we're not getting into any politics here when we're playing a game. It's just like, okay, this guy doesn't count as much for you as this guy would.
Right.
So then
I feel we're getting a little close to in too deep, so we need to maybe.
Well, I haven't played it, so I don't know how close I am to any of that.
True, but I think Jeff might agree. We might have to, when we start to get into like what we're doing with these people, we might have to worry about coming up with something.
So with that in mind, because we're getting about to that point, maybe that's what we can think about for next week. Because I've got a thing I want to do at the beginning of next week's show, but I think some more game design is a solid idea because it keeps us fucking focused and makes us sound all professional and shit. And I think sharing our thought processes is also useful.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, we published a couple of games, and like we try to impart what little wisdom we have on others, like others who are trying to break in to the world as well.
Yeah,
we've done that multiple times in the past, and there's no reason to think we won't in the future.
Yeah, it's not an unreachable goal. It's actually a fun thought experiment, and you can actually make stuff. The tools are out there if you're willing to Google them. I mean,
I think that's
you can come up with an idea, and it can become real.
So so for next week, let's think about that. What are the things that we want to be doing? Like what are goals? Maybe think about maybe think about what goals are, and how that might relate to faction abilities. You know, if an object is A, if objective is A, what would be an ability that might be fun with that? That kind of thing. Just so we have so we come into it maybe with a bit more focused agenda. Right. Not that we haven't been focused. Not that we haven't been focused. We have been deeply focused, more than we usually are. This has been great, and I'm loving where we're going with this.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where we get to.
And the thing that makes me happiest about this is that I think you were the most on the fence ideologically with the style of game, and I think you're starting to come around.
Me?
You. Is that
okay?
Is that accurate?
I would say that I'm starting to come around to the idea.
Okay. I think that was it. Is this also accurate? Was it mostly because you just had a lot of questions you wanted to get answered?
I just boring ass competitive solitaire game, as Dylan called it.
And
aptly.
I can assure you there is no world in which I would pitch that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a lot of help with that either.
Yeah, I was never going to pitch that because I know historically that's been the thing with worker placement games that it's very solitaire like, and it was also kind of an issue. What was the other game?
Deck building.
Thank you. With deck building games as well that we have had experience with. So it's like we're all coming from this, I think, from the same place of we know the shit we don't like, we know the shit we do, and we know the interactivity that we need to have fun.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. And with that, it is, I think, time for us to wrap it up. So
it is.
We are. We're on. If we're not on a podcast platform, I'm sorry. I don't have a way to get us added to it. I've added us to everything I possibly can.
I mean, if we're not, how are you listening?
Exactly. We're also out there on the socials, so I don't know. Hit us up. Make us actually respond. Hit us up because we will respond. We exist out there. The show exists as its own thing. Two Fools Rushing In. So you can, if you just Google that, I don't know, shit comes up. The company comes up as well. I want to try this one on. I'm going to try a thing on for size as a part of the closing, and see if it works. So, anyways, we will be back next week doing something that I hope is fun. It used to be fun to close out April of Fools, along with some more game design. Just. I don't know when to do this, so I don't know how to add it. But Two Fools Rushing In is a production of Foolish Media. Because it is. Yeah. So there you go. We'll be back next week, everybody.